set? Welcome to the April 20th, 2026 regular meeting of the Village Board of East Aurora. For those of you who can stand and would like to join us, please do so for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd also like to ask you to stay standing afterwards. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If we could just stay standing for a second. This last week, we lost our former mayor, John Pagliaccio. He was the longest-serving mayor in the village of East Aurora from 1984 to 2002. He was a great guy. I had the honor to meet him a couple of times. So passionate about the village, and I could say if every resident of ours was as passionate as he was and put in as much time and work, our streets would be paved in gold. So let's just have a moment of silence for John. Thank you. Before we have a roll call, we actually need to swear in one more trustee. So Trustee Camp, you want to come down with me?
Boy, the print's a little smaller.
I know. Not going to be able to forget your glasses anymore.
I need verbal consent. You're sure that you want your father to be doing this?
Yeah? Yes. I don't know.
Okay. 2.5 is good enough. Who do you want to hold the book? Anyone? Put your left, left hand, raise your right hand.
Hold this flat.
There you go. Repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly swear
I, Ryan Camp, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and now that the whole gang is together, can we do a roll call for attendance?
Trustee Lizikis.
Here.
Trustee Cameron.
Here.
Trustee Bojanowski.
Here.
Trustee Camp.
Here.
Trustee Raby.
Here.
Trustee Root.
Here.
Mayor Wojcinski.
Here.
7 present, 0 absent.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is the public hearings. We would like to open the public hearing at 7:04 to consider the special use permit from Michelle Bacco, store manager of Five Below at 123 Gray Street, to stage merchandise for sale outside of the storefront. If anybody would like to come up and talk about that, please do so now. Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Do we have to do it at 7:05 or 7:04 is okay?
704 is fine.
At 7:04. Next, the public hearing to consider a special use permit from Aaron Redding and Zachary Goodrich of 533 Prospect Ave to construct a 22 by 45 detached garage with a one-bedroom ADU for the owner-occupied single-family dwelling. If anybody would like to come up and talk about this, please do so.
Hi, good evening. I'm Susan Russell from 159 Sycamore Street in East Aurora. You can hear me, right? I'm actually here, my backyard is rear adjacent to the property where the work is being done, and I'm actually here in favor of the application. And I just would like that to be known. 3 reasons. First of all, I do want to state that the owners were extremely considerate of the neighbors. You know, they notified, they went around to all the neighbors, they kept them, abreast of their plans. They were very thorough in explaining what they wanted to do, and I really appreciated that. The second thing is that I also feel very supportive of the ADU concept in the village. I think that it's, during these difficult times, anything we can do to be more financially flexible with living spaces for families and young families, I think that's a good thing. And I think that's a direction the village needs to move in. And last but not least, it actually improves my yard because I'm going to have a little more privacy on my back deck now because of the structure. So thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Anybody else?
Yes. How you doing? Kevin Lewandowski, 122 Sycamore Street, just around the corner from that. I have my basic question is, we've got 22 by 45 or variance. A variance from what? What would be a maximum size they could have? And I'm concerned also about what other uses they might have besides the ADU. Is this going to be an Airbnb? Are people, are they looking to, rent this out to other people? I have other concerns, It's fine for a family thing, but, outside people coming in and using it as a moneymaker, basically. I would be against that. As well as I don't know what the max size is, so. I don't know if you have any, Liz,
So I think for a public hearing, we just want to hear your comments, and we can address them.
those are my comments, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Yeah. And we will address those in 5B. Anyone else? Seeing no one further, we'll close the public hearing at 7:08. The final public hearing is C, is to consider approving the 2026-2027 tentative village budget and capital plan. These public hearings are open from our last meeting, and what I wanted to do is just quickly go over some of the points of the budget so that you've got an understanding of where we are, what our thoughts were, and what we're thinking. Because the screen is behind me, I'm going to come down and use the microphone.
Down in front.
All eyes on you.
Okay, it is a bit of a tight deadline for us to do the budget, those of us who are new, so I'd like to thank all of the trustees who put in a lot of time, to the village clerk trustee, Maureen, for putting in all the work, and for the department heads as well. I think we've got quite a good budget. This week, we also formed a small subcommittee, trustees Raby and Camp, met and went over some other parts of the budget, and so if you have anything to add when we do this, please let me know. What we're looking at, in general, we have a general fund that is $10.1 million. The tax levy for that general fund is over 4.9, almost 5 million. That's what we need to raise in property tax to have that. The tax rate would be $22.60 per $1,000 of appraised home value. What that means, however, is not your fair market value. That is the value of the house as it's set in the appraisal. Our appraisal is about 29%. So what you see on your tax bill as the home value does not equal the actual home value that you have. So what we're proposing is an increase of 2.53%. That is under the tax cap. That is an amount that we believe is fair for keeping up with the cost of inflation, making sure that we stay up with all the increasing expenses. To explain the assessed value versus the fair market value, if you have a $100,000 assessed value at 29%, that likely means that the fair market value of your home is $500,000. If you have a home that is at that level, your tax bill for the Village of East Aurora will go up $56 in the next year. If your assessed value is $60,000, that would mean you have a $300,000 market value, and that would mean that your tax bill would go up $33.60 over the next year. So 2.53% is something serious that we need to consider, but that just gives you a context for the increase in costs. Again, this increase is under the tax cap, which is difficult to explain and difficult to interpret. And thanks again to Village Clerk Trustee Maureen for providing us with those numbers. What does it mean for revenue and how do we get there? If you remember, I said that about $5 million is coming from the property taxes. That is about 52% of the total revenue that we raise in the Village of East Aurora. The real property tax in the blue, the June 1st collection, so that's coming up quite soon, and that's why we need to actually pass this budget very quickly. Where do the other sources of revenue come from? Department income. That is coming, a lot of this, from other municipalities, so we are providing dispatcher services for other municipalities around us. The police department also covers the town of Aurora, and we're receiving revenue from the town of Aurora, the taxpayers outside of the village. The fire department, part of that district, is also outside the Village of Aurora in the town, and the school is paying us for costs for the SRO. This also includes permits and other costs and expenses for people when they apply for things with the village. That's the purple. The green is from state sources. This is the mortgage tax, CHIPS, which is money that comes in for us to do our streets from the state, municipal aid, grants, and the cannabis tax are all a part of that green state sources 4%. And the final are non-property taxes. This is primarily sales tax that's coming in from the county that is distributed to all of the municipalities. Some other things in there, cable franchise, gross receipts, things like that. So that makes up our revenue. Our expense breakdown, the largest part we see is the part in red. Public safety, that's police, fire, traffic control, ambulance, dispatch. The green part is transportation, that's the DPW, the Department of Public Works. Does not cover all of that department, only the part that is related to streets. Purple is employee benefits, healthcare, retirement. That makes up about $1 million of our budget is the healthcare costs, which continue to rise and is an issue we will face in the future. Police retirement, all other retirement, fire, that makes up that purple side. Going back to the other side, general government support, 15.4%. That is the DPW office, the clerk treasurer's office, engineers, legal costs, things like that, buildings. 8.4% is debt service. So our debt currently includes the Oakwood Ave project, the fire hall, ladder truck, Tannery Brook culvert. To the left of that is the home and community services. This is primarily garbage at $700,000, garbage collection. Also, some minor costs for ZBA, planning, storm sewers, beautification, things like that. If you see, we're putting 0.3% into reserves and a 0.5% for culture, recreation. Those are the costs for Hamlin Park, museums, celebration costs, 4th of July, things like that. How are our fund balances? They're quite healthy. We have an unassigned fund balance of $4 million. This does seem like a lot. That's about just under 40% of our total budget. That is a necessary evil. $2 million is a bill that we need to actually float for the town until we get the money back from them for the services we provide to the town. So $2 million of that is actually not something that we can generally use. So the unassigned fund balance is $4 million. Designated fund balance for the 26-27 budget to be used to balance the budget is $450,000. We do not expect to use that. The water unassigned fund balance is $500,000, and the fund balance for the 26-27 budget is 0. Next up is the water fund. Our total budget for water is $1.88 million. It is a balanced budget, no tax levy impact. Water supply rate increases of 8% come to us from Erie County Water Authority, and we are passing those on to to residents who are using water. The debt fee decreased in this year's budget by 15%, which is a good tendency. Operation and maintenance, however, increased 10% as we see increased costs. Due to paying cash for recent projects and not taking on any additional debt and interest costs, we have a pretty healthy water fund budget, but we've got work to do in years to come as well. A little bit easier here, we see that water sales make up 98% of the revenue. Penalties and interest 2%. Connection charges are less than 1%. And finally, the expense breakdown of the water fund. 49.1% is paid for water supply, 18.5% for transmission and distribution. Again, this is the DPW. Employee benefits for the employees that are working in water, 9.3%. Debt service, 13.9%. And general water administration, 9.2%. That's an overview of the budget. It's been posted online, so hopefully by this point we've got all those issues out, but I wanted to have an overview so we're all clear on what it looks like.
Thanks. Luke, can you just explain to people, too, the relationship between the, or lack thereof, between the water fund and the general fund?
Do you want to take it while I'm walking up, or?
Go ahead. I'll let
So,
Maureen.
water fund has to be kept separate from the general fund. Only people who pay water and all expenses due to water need to be kept separately from the general fund. We cannot take money from the general fund and just give it to the water fund. When we take care of all of our monies, it has to be kept separate the entire time. Also, if you have like sewer or anything like that, those things would need to be kept separate. The only one we have that's a separate is the water fund and the capital fund, but that wasn't anything to do with this.
Yeah. Thank you. It's just a question that comes up sometimes.
Yep.
Like, we've
Yep.
got this money. Why can't we pay for water projects? Well,
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions on the board or comments? Okay, good. And a public hearing, so if anyone has any comments on the budget, maybe that gave some context and got some thoughts going. Or maybe it was so good it answered all your questions. All right, no comments, then we'll close the public hearing for the 2026-2027 tentative village budget and capital plan at 7:18. And at this point, we will open up to anyone who would like to speak on any agenda item from the audience. Anything you see on today's agenda, you'd like to speak about it, please do so now. Okay. Does the Mr. Former President have something he wants to speak about, or? All good? Okay. I'm good. All right. Nice to see you. Thank you. Okay, then we can move on. As I explained at the last meeting, we are moving to a consent agenda so that we can make these a little bit more quick on those issues that are not controversial. So anyone that would like to move one of these issues, remove them from our consent agenda, please do so. I'll read through them real quickly, and then we'll do a vote on all of them at the end. So our consent agenda will consist of, today, the approval of minutes of the village board meeting for April 6, approval of payment for April 20 abstract 25-26 fiscal year for a total of $41,445.10. Referring to the Planning Commission for the May 5th meeting, a special use permit for the application for 635 Main Street, Sylvia Walworth of Valvoline Instant Oil Change for a vehicle service shop. We are just referring that to the Planning Board. Setting a public hearing on May 18th for the site plan application for the Aurora Village Shopping Center at 123 Gray Street to replace the existing parking lot lighting with new quad dark sky compliant LED fixtures.
That's awesome.
Approving a Hamlin Park temporary use permit for Aurora Players for theatrical productions on various dates in the summer of 2026. This is the same as in previous years. Approving a temporary use permit for the East Aurora Art Society, Sarah Tobin, for a fine art exhibit and sale on June 27th and 28th, 11 to 5 p.m., contingent on receipt of certificate of insurance at the Clerk Treasurer's Office, also similar to previous years. Temporary use permit approval for Roycroft Campus from Kurt Moranto for their Founders Day celebration on June 6th from 4:30 to 7:30, also consistent with previous years. 3 temporary use permits from the East Aurora Chamber of Commerce, Victoria Sturman, Sun to Sunset in East Aurora on July 24th, 12 to 8 p.m., East Aurora Summer Street Festival on July 25th, 10 to 4 p.m., East Aurora Chamber of Commerce Taste of East Aurora on December 12th, 11 to 3 p.m., approving a temporary use permit for the Town of Aurora Backyard Bash Concert Series on Thursdays, July 9th to August 30th from 4 to 9 p.m., consider approving budget adjustments for the 25-26 fiscal year as listed in the materials and online, and approving budget modifications for the 25-26 fiscal year. Would anyone like to remove any of those issues from the consent agenda? Okay. Then can I have I guess, any comments or questions? All in favor?
Wait,
Oh, nope.
first and a second. I need a
Oh,
motion.
sorry, motion, yeah.
I'll make a motion.
It's been 2 weeks. Trustee Raby makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Trustee Kemp, and his first second. Congratulations. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. Wasn't that fun? Okay, moving on to official considerations. Next up is consider approving the special use permit from Michelle Bacco, store manager of Five Below at 123 Gray Street to stage merchandise for sale outside of the storefront. Any comments or discussion on this before we ask for a motion? Coming from the planning board, which did recommend approving. In that case, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Trustee Lazikas, can I get a second?
A second.
Deputy Mayor Root, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that carries. Next up is to consider approving a special use permit from Aaron Redding and Zachary Goodrich of 533 Prospect Ave to construct a 22 by 45-foot detached garage with a one-bedroom ADU for the owner-occupied single-family dwelling, of which we had a public hearing, and there were comments. Maybe we can address those questions now. Liz, do you want to?
ADUs in the village, the current regulation is you're only allowed a one-bedroom, so that's fairly size limiting. But an accessory building in the village is maxed out at 25% of the rear yard. We always check that if it gets close, but it's very rare that it happens. So this is a one-bedroom to be used for their own purposes, and the Planning Commission did have a discussion with them about the fact that short-term rental is not allowed. ADUs in the village cannot be utilized as short-term rentals. They're well aware of that and do not plan to do so.
Any questions or comments from the board? I mean, ADUs are going to be an issue as we move forward that we're going to have to continue to talk about. An easy way to increase our housing stock. But of course, there are issues with neighbors and things, but certainly something that we can consider as we move forward, possibly even with a comprehensive plan that I'll speak about a little later. Well, if no questions or comments, can I have a motion to approve the special use permit?
So moved.
Trustee Lazikas, a second.
Second.
Trustee Cameron, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next up is to consider approving the 26 to 27 capital plan as submitted by the Capital Committee. For background, the Capital Committee consists of the department heads who are interviewed in this procedure, also members of the community who put forward the projects and rank them as to what needs to be done if there is extra funds. Any comments here or questions from the trustees? With that, can I have a motion to approve the 26-27 capital plan?
So moved.
Trustee Cameron, can I have a second?
A second.
Deputy Mayor Roots, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. Next up is to consider adopting the 26-27 village budget, including non-union wage rates. Village budget was presented before. Public hearings happened at least 2 meetings. Again, I think it's a strong budget, and thank you to everybody who participated in that process. Any comments or questions? All right, talkative group tonight. Can I get a motion to approve the 26-27 village budget, including non-union wage rates?
So moved.
Give it to Tim.
wants it.
Motion by trustee Bojanowski, second.
I didn't motion.
Oh,
That's Camp.
trustee Camp.
Camp.
Will we get a second?
I'll second.
Second by trustee Bojanowski. I'd like to ask the right side of the panel to get it together with their motions in the future.
Maybe use your listening ears.
Is this a roll call? This is a roll call vote.
Trustee Lizikis.
Aye.
Trustee Cameron.
Aye.
Trustee Bojanowski.
Aye.
Trustee Camp.
Aye.
Trustee Raby.
Aye.
Trustee Root.
Aye.
Mayor Wojcinski.
Aye. Next up, consider adopting the water budget and water rates for the 26-27 budget year, also presented during the public hearing. Any questions or comments on this? Okay, can I get a motion to adopt the water budget and water rates?
So moved.
Trustee Cameron, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Raby. All in favor? Oh, is this a motion?
Roll call.
Roll call as well, yep. Sorry.
Trustee Lizikis.
Aye.
Trustee Cameron.
Aye.
Trustee Bojanowski.
Aye.
Trustee Camp.
Aye.
Trustee Raby.
Aye.
Trustee Root.
Aye.
Mayor Wojcinski.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Next up is to consider approving the 26-27 tax warrant to pay for our budget. Any questions or comments on this? Motion to approve the 26-27 tax warrant.
So moved.
Trustee Lizikas, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Camp. Roll call or?
Yes.
Roll call.
Trustee Lizikis.
Aye.
Trustee Cameron.
Aye.
Trustee Bojanowski.
Aye.
Trustee Camp.
Aye.
Trustee Raby.
Aye.
Trustee Root.
Aye.
Mayor Wojcinski.
Aye.
Passed.
Okay, now that we got through that, I think we can get a little more exciting here. Next up is to consider approving a local law amending the Village Code Chapter 112 demolitions. And I know here there are several trustees who have been looking at this issue closely, and I assume you have some thoughts.
Yes, I do have some thoughts on it. We can certainly open this up to everybody else. I want to thank Liz for a lot of the help going back and forth on the background on this and on what we're trying to accomplish with it. I do have some concerns that the way the proposed language is phrased is rather restrictive to homeowners. In particular, I think bringing additions into the demolition language is potentially very constrictive, and I'm concerned about holding up any building that homeowners want to do. What jumped out at me was what I think is a rather arbitrary 40% definition. I'd like to see a little bit more background on why that number was chosen. I'm also concerned about affordability in the village, as Mayor Wojcinski brought up with ADUs earlier. I'm concerned that we'll have a number of families moving into town, settling for a smaller house with the intention of building onto it. I don't think that's outside of the character of the village, and I think we should make sure that this regulation is not proscribing that ability for families. So I would like to suggest or open up as a question to the board that we consider opening this back up for public hearing with the hope and instruction that we can tighten some of the language, especially around additions. And again, understand the spirit of the change and that we want to try to eliminate or reduce the possibility of eliminating historically important structures in the village. Understood? I'm worried that this is a little too broad.
I agree. I agree. And if we're going to bring the ADUs into the conversation of this is something that we may want so we can grow as a community and help our parents or just grow as a family and use that space, then I think using the additions, 40%, I mean, I have a small house. I fell into this and we just added we just expanded 2 bedrooms. So because I have a small house, I surpassed the 40% quite easily. So with a lot of houses that are here in East Aurora. If you're a growing family and you want to stay, you need to grow. And I'd rather stay here in East Aurora than look for a larger home outside of this village, so.
So you're looking to table, is that it? Until we discuss further or rewrite?
I think that's the discussion. I don't know if you have any thoughts on it. I agree with that. I think, if we have more time, there is a moratorium that prevents this from happening. I do realize there are some projects out there that need to wait. I'd rather get it right, though, than put it through, and if there are concerns with it. What I would ask is that we could create a small subcommittee of trustees who can work on this so we don't just let it slip through the cracks. So if anyone wants to work on it, code enforcement officer would be willing to work with some trustees on this. If that's okay. I don't know, get everyone else's thoughts. Trustee Lizikas, did you have some thoughts you wanted to?
No, I'm not objecting to holding off to make sure the language is proper. I don't know.
And I agree with you, Mayor Wojcinski, that I would prefer not to extend that moratorium. I know it's in place already. I'd prefer to try to get this done quickly, and I think it's close. I think the spirit of the regulation is correct. I'm worried that we're being a little imprecise.
Yeah.
So I'd rather move quickly, have another public hearing on this, and ideally let the moratorium expire in line with a new revision to the code.
So I think for this, because it's a local law, we would need to propose the law at our next meeting, right? And then set a public hearing at the next meeting with the new language. 2 weeks after that, we could hold a public hearing and pass.
So I would set the public hearing for 5/18/26, and the amended, what you want to discuss at that meeting would need to be done by the next board meeting on 5/4.
Right. So if we can make those changes by May 4th, then we could set the public hearing for May 18th.
And then they need to make the motion.
You could just make the changes, you've already had a public hearing.
Even if we change the text of the law?
Even if you change the text of the law, you can make amendments. Okay. If you want to go to another public hearing, it's fine, but then there's more complication and further delay potential.
So,
Your call.
not necessary to do the public hearing. I don't know if we want that public input, though, with the changes. We have had a couple, and nobody's come forward with any thoughts. What do we think?
When does the moratorium expire?
End of June, I believe? Right?
So we have time if we want to get more public input. I mean,
Right. The only issue is that if there's projects out there that are waiting because we haven't passed anything and we have the moratorium in, I think there's a couple, that are waiting, or? 12.
Okay.
That's a couple, right?
so once the new law passes, the moratorium is over
You would have to vote.
to end them.
Because the
You
more,
would have
Yeah,
to
we
vote,
could-
you would have to vote, if you approve the law before the moratorium expires, then you would then vote to also rescind that moratorium.
Gotcha.
So why don't we do this? Would like to propose that we then get a couple of trustees who can work on this issue, whoever's interested, to propose to us by maybe the end of the week some changes. If we get it and we're comfortable without having a public hearing, we can open it up to public comment without having the official public hearing at that meeting. And if we don't get anybody that has any comments about it, we could then pass it in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And if we do, then we can always decide to delay further.
That seems reasonable. Can we just make sure that the HPC is kind of looped
Yeah.
in on all of this? Because I know they've done a lot of work, and it'd be helpful to get the background from them on some of this.
Yep, very good point. Okay, so the big question, who would like to be working on this?
I'll do it.
Trustee Bojanowski,
I'll do it as well.
Deputy Mayor Root, anyone else?
I'll try to put some time into it as well. Meet with you guys.
Okay, and Trustee Lizikas, good. So then, can we get a motion to table?
you don't.
You never
We
made
don't
a
need a,
Motion, you don't have a motion to table because you don't have a motion on the floor.
oh, okay,
So you can just move on.
just move on.
Chris has given this speech before.
Yeah, that's, okay. I knew there was a reason why I had conversation before we move. Yeah, so good.
Okay.
Okay, moving on then. Next up is permission for the mayor to sign a contract with Robin Drake as an independent contractor for grant writing services at a rate of $77 per hour. I sent information about this to the board. I feel strongly about this. Robin unfortunately had surgery and she was not able to make it here today. She is the grant writer for the town. There have been a lot of successful projects. She has also worked for the Western New York Land Conservancy and has become highly recommended from her, and we have seen that she does a very good job. What we would do is engage her through the agreement and then come up with a plan of, together with the village clerk treasurer, to identify those grant opportunities that we want, which she would then present to the entire board, and you could decide which opportunities were worth paying the hourly rate to her further. I think it's been really, really great to work with her. She's on top of things. She's really a very good writer. She works with the department heads and whoever needs to be doing it to identify the needs. So I'd like to propose that we give me permission to sign the contract. Any thoughts or comments on this?
It's important. We had a Parks Committee meeting, and one grant is coming up for playground, for specifically parks improvements. And with that said, I'm going to pass around some. This is, I read the grant proposal and the application, and these are some strategies I put down that we could forward to her, and if anyone wants to read through this and add to this. Many times, because of our demographics, we're not high on the list, but this is some of this, there's different criteria involved with the scoring. And if the board could review this and share it with her, and I'm all for getting someone professional to help with this.
Great.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you so much. I think we'll send this to her and maybe arrange a call with you then.
I could email it to,
Yep.
I just did this for the board members.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I know there are some restrictions on certain grants, but we were successful in the town, and other municipalities have also been successful, as East Aurora has in certain things. I find that by putting the extra funds in to pay for a grant writer that's professional, we really get that back hundreds of times over, so.
Worth highlighting too, coming off of a budget presentation, that this is an area of revenue that the village can capture and reduce property tax burdens as we continue to see uncontrollables like healthcare costs continue to rise in the village. This is an area where we can try to find other sources of revenue and not rely so heavily on property tax income.
Yep, I think for projects like this where, it may be $2 million for a new playground, this is really our only option, so. Yep.
Agreed.
Yep.
All right. Any other thoughts or questions, comments? All right, can we get a motion to permit the mayor to sign a contract with Robin Drake as an independent contractor for grant writing services at a rate of $77 per hour?
So moved. Second.
Motion by trustee Raby, second by trustee Cameron, I think? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It was a tie.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much for that. We will get to work immediately. Next up is to consider appointing Mark Hartley to the position of Emergency Manager and Dan Ditkovsky as Deputy Emergency Manager for a term of 1 year to expire on April 5th, 2027. Some context here. Dan who apparently goes by the name Triple D. I was in the county today, and that's what they refer to him as. Dan teaches the county how to respond to emergency management services. Mark has been with the village and the town for many, many years. Dan has graciously offered to train us and to look and review our emergency management programs. And so there's a lot of exciting stuff going on. I know the chief, you've worked with them a little bit on some certain things, and so as we go throughout this year, how we're identifying the issues we want to be code reading and how we're using code red is another thing that he's been looking into, including alternatives to code red, very active. We do need to go to mandatory training for emergency management, the trustees, the new ones, and the mayor. I don't know about the trustees who have been here before. you've probably done it already, and so.
I
yeah.
believe we did.
So that is something we need to get in within so many months, so the next opportunity that we have Maureen is gonna let us know. But I think there's gonna be a lot of work this year with both Mark and Dan, and, it's the type of stuff that we really want to have in place and be ready if something unfortunate happens. All right, any comments on that? Chief, any comments? No? Okay. All right. All in favor of appointing Mark Hartley to the position of Emergency Manager and Dan Ditkovsky as Deputy Emergency Manager for a term of 1 year to expire April 5th, 2027? Oh, should we have a motion? Sorry. Motion.
So moved.
Trustee Camp, second?
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Root. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. Next up, we have permission for the mayor to sign a contract in conjunction with the town of Aurora for Skylighter for the 3rd of July fireworks. Great program. This is a contract with the town. It is at zero cost to the village. We are having a meeting on the program tomorrow morning, I believe, at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning to discuss. But this is obviously the July 3rd celebration for July 4th that happens every year. Generally, the town accepts donations for the fireworks, and it's really a zero cost to taxpayers. Our contract here enters the arrangement with the town that is, again, zero cost to us as well. All right, can we get a motion to permit the mayor to sign the contract?
So moved.
Trustee Lazikas, can we get a second?
Second.
Trustee Bojanowski, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. There is no old business. On to new business, and this is more of a conversation about the village's social media and social media policy. There is a very short one-page document on our use of social media. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been quite active, posting a lot of things. The police has really been active for quite a long time. I think you've got 9,000 plus, almost 10. So the village has some catching up to do. But with our posts, what do we have, 150 new since in the last 2 weeks? So I think it's important to be consistent posting and finding ways to connect with residents. What I wanted to talk about is if anyone has any thoughts as to other avenues. Instagram is something I think we need because anyone younger than 40 is probably more likely to be an Instagram user. And if there's any other thoughts on other platforms we want to be using. And then the second question is, we have a Village of East Aurora page, we have a police department page, there is a tree board that I don't think was ever officially approved. And I think that's, having the police department and the village to have a page is probably sufficient, but if anyone thinks that there are other uses that we need to have out there, so I'll open it up to your thoughts.
Does Department of Public Works post on the East Aurora page then? The East Aurora Facebook page?
Full disclosure, Jeff and I did go and make a video, but I'm not very good at editing, so I've not found a good editor. My brother, who edits for free, was on vacation, so now that he's back, we will get it up. But, yeah.
Can we get a blooper reel?
Oh, yeah.
Trustee Bojanowski was also there, but I think that's a good example, right? We went out and we spoke about the bump on South Grove, why it happened, and the plan for improving it. I think that we can use those opportunities to be more proactive in how we communicate. We also, looking forward, have to find ways, as soon as Dan finishes the review of Code Red, how we can use Code Red to more actively reach out, because we are paying for that service.
Well, like you said, it's like a good way to explain the why. Like, we all see the work that's being done on Main Street with the curbs. It's unknown as to why that's being done by a lot of people, so a video is a very easy way of getting it out and spreading the word and sharing so that we eliminate all the why and we're more clear and transparent, and I think it's a modern way of doing so without just posting it online and expecting people to go online, read about it, and it's just easier.
Yep.
Yeah, I know the tree board has used their page to some pretty positive effect to find locations for the spring tree planting. They go by quadrant every year, but there are always more trees. And we get
there's 10
responses
extra
from the
trees right now.
postcards.
We'd
Right.
never know unless they got the word out, and then I'm sure everyone would raise their hand if they knew that there were spots and trees available. Right?
Yeah, you're right. So if there's some other policy or another way of doing things, that's fine. But I think they definitely want to make sure they can keep that that outreach to the public going in whatever form.
Yeah, and there are some legal things we want to do, posting on the site and making sure that, there's a reason why people understand there are not comments, or we could open it up to comments, but have a process in place to be able to remove the comments, which we did do in the town. So those are all things we move forward. I would then suggest, I'll take it on then to propose a first draft of the social media policy.
Great.
If that sounds good, we'll do Facebook, we'll do Instagram, we'll do the three sites that we have right now, the 3 Facebook pages we have now, 1 Instagram page.
I would expand that beyond walled gardens of social media too. I think you should look at YouTube, places where we can send links to people instead of them just receiving them in their social media feed. So that could either be, if we have a YouTube or a Vimeo presence or something like that,
Yeah.
we can do that on the website.
That's right,
We could
yeah.
also start to send them out in newsletters and link people to things too.
Yeah, and we do need to have the YouTube page also be a part of that policy, that's right, with the administrator and sign in the approval agreement. Yeah, and Code Red is, again, the next step here. It is a very powerful program. I think we need to do work to get more people to sign up, but when you're able to say, well, look, we emailed, we texted, we called, we posted on social media, and we mailed, we did everything we could to try to inform the community. That's really all we can do. So. Okay, does anybody want to help me with that? Any social media nerds in the room?
As the designated software worker, I will take that on. with you.
Okay.
Okay.
So Trustee
Mr. Mayor.
Camp will help me with coming up with the policy. Any other thoughts? All right, good. And there will be a blooper reel. We already have it with Jeff and I. That's just to follow up on that. Okay, next up, speakers. Any other thoughts on that? No? Okay, next up, speakers and communications is an opportunity for anybody in the audience to speak on any issue that you believe is important for the village board.
Sue Russell again, 159 Sycamore Street. I have a question. So National Fuel, when they did their infrastructure work on Sycamore Street, some on Prospect, et cetera, Linden, they've really left quite a mess. And does anybody know if there's been any communication with National Fuel, if they're going to come back and re-landscape the right-of-way? There's holes, gaping holes, rocks, boulders, piles, dirt. It was shocking. They left it that way through the winter. My neighbor stepped in one of the holes, almost broke her ankle. They have some flags in some of them, others have none. It's been ongoing, and we sort of thought maybe they'd be on it by now, but just wondering if anybody knows anything about that.
I have a contact with National Fuel I'll make tomorrow. I know the plan was to hydro seed and all that stuff like in May, so it's come. I think
May,
they're just
okay.
about finished with the project,
Okay,
but I will find out more information tomorrow.
great.
So I'm guessing May is when they're gonna start hydro seeding and doing all that restoration work.
Okay, good, thank you.
And that
It
includes,
helps to
like,
know that it's on their agenda.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely on their agenda, and that includes like the road cuts, all the concrete work that they've dug up. So
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Yep. I mean, one thing that we spoke about is looking into the permit process, how we're permitting these bumps to go through, because we keep on getting throughout the streets, and it's, so we'll look into that, see what materials we're allowing anyone to use, and then also try to be more proactive on posting about what's happening. Yeah, not to get ahead of ourselves, but another one is on Main Street, where they were tearing up I just was biking and I stopped by to get that, and Jeff made a post then about that online, so maybe you want to talk about that too while we're at it.
I actually saw them pouring concrete today at one corner, so they're moving along.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was something failing with the ADA compliant
Yeah,
aprons or,
I mean, everything settles. That was done 10, 11 years ago, so settling and cracking. So, and I think the pads weren't ADA compliant anymore. It looks like they're putting steel pads in, so.
Yep.
I did want to ask about that. That's, since the county is about to do Maple, can we request that they use the same kind of upgraded pads?
Yeah, I'll talk to Gina about that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I did want to, so, yeah, I was in the county executive's office today, and one of the things we spoke about was perhaps getting them to come out and do a presentation to us about the Maple Road project and how it's going to impact the community. So hopefully we'll get them out to do that presentation. We'll have a, just here as well. I think there's been some work with the tree board
I
about
think there's
identifying the
15
trees.
There's
Yeah.
15 trees that they need to remove for the project, but they're going to be replacing all of them, all 15 of them.
Right.
Maybe not in the same place, but
And with the
They've
species
had-
that we asked them for.
Right.
Yeah.
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 And some of them that they're
Lines.
removing are pretty bad anyway.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
But they're going to take into account the lines and how low they are and what trees make sense there, so they don't need to come back and.
Yep. So Jeff and I, we can meet with the county and then ask them to come in and have that, and any questions you've got. Be good just to have that out there, that these are the trees we're removing, this is why, that some of them have to be removed, and, if there's any questions, so. I don't know, do you know when they're planning on starting that?
My guess is going to be around June.
Yep.
Yeah, if they had a website up for the Pine Street project. I haven't seen anything for Maple.
I think the bid is out right now, so
Okay.
when they find the contractor that wins the bid, then they got to order all the structures, and
Yeah.
so it's going to be a little bit, but I'm guessing June.
Okay.
Okay, any other speakers?
Can I comment on the demo?
You better go, yeah. Just speak in the microphone because it's online as well.
Gotcha, thanks. Sorry, I was even coming to talk about the moratorium tonight. I'm here with my customers, but the moratorium.
What's your name and address?
Chris Contento. I live on 2434 Lapham Road. Not in the village.
Hold on a sec. All right, we'll let you speak.
I've got 18 apartments in the village, though. So, but so the moratorium, I'm as a contractor, even I believe in the intent, in the spirit of that moratorium, or of the new law. The moratorium, though, like we got to figure out a way to open up building. For example, I have a project being held up right now. It's a 20 by 14 addition on a little ranch house. Why is it being held up? Because something says demolition, and in order for us to make the opening into the new house, it's held up in this mess trying to rewrite the law. So I guess, I heard table and trying to do things right, dot I's, cross T, I believe in that, but if there's a way while we're doing that to let the building department evaluate some of the projects that are on the table, and if they do still meet the spirit and are the intent of the new code, to release them so some of these homeowners don't have to wait. What's going to happen is some people are going to get jumped in line if their project can't go right now. They might not be able to be built this year or next. And I know there's only 12 right now, but if you were one of those 12, wouldn't be a good feeling. So I was just...
are you saying specifically because you have to cut the hole that falls under the demolition?
No, what I'm saying is the
Just
way the
whole
moratorium's written is it's kind of putting a blanket statement when you're doing a small, little, like a 20 by 14 addition on the back of this house, and not demoing the whole house and leaving one wall up and constructing a 4,500 square foot addition, that person's being punished because it's the way the moratorium's written is pretty generalized right now. So
Understood.
if we could add some specificities to it in the meantime, that might help some folks out.
So I think we're going to try really hard to get that done in the next 2 weeks so that we actually lift the moratorium and everything should be good to go.
Yeah.
And I know it takes a while and that's tough. It's a lot going on, and then that I apologize for that, but I think that the board
Right, that's what
needs
we're
the 2
trying.
weeks, and I think it'll be a better solution in the end, so if we wait the 2 weeks, we'll do it, but,
2 weeks can work. It's just when you start getting the good weather, it's hard for everybody, so.
yep. Thank you, though. Any other comments? Okay, so next up, department heads, and I think we will start with General Crew Chief Stoll.
This week we're doing our electronic recycling, so I want everybody, make sure everybody gets out any unused electronics so we can pick them up. Hamlet Park trees, we finished all the trimming with Bradley Tree. They plan on coming back in May for the aeration of 20 trees. Me and Jesse and Jared are gonna kind of scope out which trees we're gonna perform the aeration. And as far as the DPW side, we got a couple more removals. We got a couple more silver maples to do. And tomorrow I'm meeting with Sucoat to discuss schedule for milling and paving. So I kind of have a list. I'll share that with you guys if you guys want to, what your ideas are, but I'll share with mine what our plan is for this year.
Sure. Yep, great.
Jeff, what were the dates on the electronic recycling?
It's this week, so they're your garbage. But I'm gonna have guys go out. I know garbage only goes till Wednesday. There's always a few stragglers, so we'll go out Thursday, Friday, make sure we get everything.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Chief Welch?
Over at the police department lately, we've just been working on the budget considerations as you finalize the budget. I've met with the mayor and Maureen a couple times, just finalizing things. I'm giving you a rundown just because it's your first board meeting, a lot of you, of what goes on at the police department. Last Friday, we took part in the first bike bus run of the year. You might have seen that on social media. Probably about 200 kids riding their bike to school. We escorted them last Friday, so that was a fun event. This time of year, the speed monitoring devices start getting put out. We will place them places where we feel there's problems speeding, but we also take input from community members if they want to have those monitoring devices put on a certain area where they feel cars are going too fast. We have been working the last couple of weeks. You might see more vehicles pulled over. That's a result of a governor's traffic safety grant that Lieutenant Waldron was successful in getting last fall. And that one lately has been focusing on distracted cell phone operators. So there's still a lot of people with Bluetooth still using their phones. So just quick hit on the critical infrastructure grant that we were denied. I know that Maureen worked incredibly hard to be creative with my ideas, and I think I hit a little bit with what Steve said. I think sometimes we're penalized by our demographics, and I'm interested to see what a grant writing professional has to say about what we need to do to change that, because inside of that grant application, we had a lot of great ideas and a lot of, we were going to put hopefully a live stream camera on Main Street, one at Hamlin Park, redo the surveillance, the video surveillance at the village or at the police department, and just a lot of things that it would have been nice to cover it. So I was really disappointed to see that we didn't get that. But again, I always feel maybe our demographics is one of the biggest reasons. So I'm excited to see if we can find ways around that so that we can get more grant opportunities.
I think we can invite them to have that conversation. A lot of times the committee that decides will speak with the grant applicants about what they can improve in the grant and why you didn't win, and just get it in line and improve it for next time. So let's put that on the list of things to do.
As far as staffing goes, we recently hired 3 part-time public safety dispatchers. In the course of their training period, 2 of them have resigned. Both of them were great workers, cited the challenges of the job for a part-time position. So I have brought up to the mayor the idea of increasing the full-time staff in dispatch, and we've been discussing that as the job of public safety dispatcher has evolved over the years. It's a lot more complex and a lot more goes into it now than, say, 30 years ago, just by way of increased technology. The surveillance camera trailer that's been on Main Street since about Carolcade, we received that a few years ago in a technology grant. That is positioned back at Hamlin Park for the summer, where we keep an eye on the basketball courts and the tennis courts. I want to thank Jeff's work. The Lions Club reached out to him, and apparently they are going to help remodel and repair our police satellite office building at Hamlin Park, and it's going to be done before the fireworks, so that's kind of neat. That building's needed some love for a little while, so thanks to the Lions Club for that. And then lastly, McDonald's reached out. They wanted to do some more community engagement, so we are hosting a Coffee with a Cop on Saturday, May 2nd, from 9 to 11, and the mayor has said he's going to grace us with our presence at that, too. So if you want to have some McDonald's coffee or some some pancakes or whatever, May 2nd, from 9 to 11, or Coffee with a Cop.
Featuring special guest appearances by Mayor Luke Wachensky and the Safety Pup mascot. You would be surprised how many people have written to me that they are looking forward to seeing the Safety Pup mascot at that event.
Well, one of our officers' son's an aspiring police officer, and I said, you want to wear a costume? Wear a cap someday? So Safety Pup will be there, yes.
Chief, I was also asked to pass on thanks, gratitude, enthusiasm for the escort bike bus on Friday. Everybody was very excited to see that. I think it was a great presence, great community feel for it. And I know that they've been in contact with you, but they asked to pass along in public what a help that was.
Yeah, and we're happy to do that. A lot of that comes down to call volume and manpower when it happens. You know, obviously if something comes in during the middle of that and all of a sudden you feel the police have abandoned you, it's not because there was the last donut at Tim Hortons. It's because there was a call somewhere that required that manpower elsewhere. But if we're free and able to, we're happy to do it.
And I encourage the trustees actually to join. If you're there, it's every morning. Get there about 8, 10. Some of us have kids, but if not, it's a cool event.
On Fridays.
Friday morning.
Friday
What
morning.
did I say?
Every
You said
morning.
every morning. It's a lonely bike bus
That's
Monday through
a rough
Thursday.
morning if it's every morning.
You got me. I wanted to see you out there tomorrow on that. Yeah. Okay, code enforcement officer?
A couple of updates. 326 Olean Road, there's a structure that had a catastrophic fire last March. We were recently in contact with a demolition contractor, so they're going to take the building down. It is a safety hazard, so the sooner it comes down, the better, so it's not affected by the demolition moratorium. So that property will be cleaned up within the next few weeks. I just want to also let you know that we have received 2 out of 3 permits applications for the 3-lot subdivision on Pine and Gerard. So you may be hearing about that development, but that is moving forward. And I want to thank Jeff and Brian Halt. We met a couple of weeks ago on Olean Road after the late March rain where there was some flooding. Saw that there's some unknown drainage on private property that connects into the storm drainage on Olean Road. And so we're in the process, Jeff's in the process of working with DOT on the issues that DOT is having on Olean Road storm drainage. We're also looking at an interior block. There's a creek that runs through it, trying to find out if there's any additional issues happening in that area. So within the next couple of weeks, we're going to be walking that creek to see what's what up there. But it's unfortunately a more increasing conversation that my office has with drainage concerns. So it's not something new, and I don't see it going away anytime soon. And then the last thing, I drive around town all the time. It's not my department, but the yard bags are not going to get picked up anymore. They either need to go in your bins, or you need to take them to the highway department or the DPW on Saturday mornings. I've been there twice already. It's great. I love it. Thank you. I always wave to the guy sitting in the truck. And any construction debris also has to be containerized. That people are putting it at the road, but the garbage company is no longer collecting that. So just want to remind everybody, we do get calls about neighbors who are leaving their trash at the street, and we reach out to them as best we can just to let them know what the responsibility is. But everything has to be in a container, in the approved totes, not any container. And that's all I have.
Yeah, we're looking at what we can do there. Jeff and I and Maureen will be meeting sometime soon with Waste Management to talk about certain options. I don't want to say anything now, but I think there's a need to make some alterations. We have a contract, so we're limited in what we can do, but to maybe provide a few more options for people with certain things, because I think that there's maybe some tweaking that we can do. And if you want to participate in that, let me know. But we'll see. I can't promise anything, but we'll try to see what other sort of services we can do. Okay. Maureen, I think you're the last one on those?
Yeah, I was away at GFOA training this last week. Did a lot of training on AI and phishing schemes. Municipalities are in the top 3 places that get phishing done. We get a lot of emails here, so I always like to remind people not to open all the emails that we get, especially even sometimes when it says they're from somebody here and they're not. So you got to be very careful about that. And then we'll be working on implementing the new tax software, hopefully, in the next coming weeks.
Awesome. Right.
Okay, starting with Trustee Lizikas. Any?
Well, last week was my first meeting with the tree board. That was great. I'm excited to work with them. I also had a Parks Committee meeting, and we discussed the Rotary generously is making a tree donation to help replenish trees that we took out. We saw a playground presentation from a company called Parkitects, and they assist in design as well as helping information on obtaining grants and things of that nature, and helping you through that process of developing a playground. The bathroom progress, that's coming along. Jeff's doing a great job on that. We might be finished with that by June-ish, he said, like beginning of June, end of June. I also went to some plumbing distributors that I do business with, and hopefully we can trim some of the costs for the fixtures involved in there. And I got Jeff a new quote on some of that, so we might be able to save a little money. Also, a old and resurrected issue in the park is going to be pickleball. I went up and talked to some people on the Sycamore side and had some conversations last week, and I'm going to request some new signage for the courts if we could. I don't know if that has to be voted on or that's just something we could do in the budget. We need some new wording for it. I think it needs to be more strongly worded. I'm glad that, Chief, you're putting the eye in the sky there. That may help a little bit. There's damage being done. They're taking down some nets, and they're using the tennis court for pickleball. And as everybody knows, it's been a major issue, and I think we need to do a little more to quell that. And if we need language for the signs, I can come up with some of that. And if the money's an issue, there's even private people that say they'll gladly donate signs. So that, and thanks to the Rotary and Lions Club for the improvements they're helping. And then that's pretty much, and then the grant. This grant strategy are just a few items that I put together. I don't want to go through them all now, but basically, because of our demographics, financial need, we probably will not obtain a grant for that purpose. But if we use other criteria to show our need, you really just to make the playground more modern, inclusive, accessible, things like ADA access, sensory-friendly features, and safe play opportunities come into play. And everything from ADA compliant surfacing to just opening it to a wider range of individuals. And part of that is gaining larger community involvement, and happy to move that forward and work with whomever we bring on board to get that. And that's my week.
Great. It's a jewel in the middle of our village, and
It really is.
Trustee Cameron?
I already talked about what I wanted to talk about. Maple, I think this, speaking of resurrecting issues, this is about the time of year I think we should go request traffic studies from the county, if we wanted to still look into that for Pine especially. We discussed it a little bit with Center and South. We wanted to make sure we didn't ask for that in the middle of winter.
Yeah, we're-
So the board voted, or I believe you voted on the center and south one, and I reached out to Maureen a couple weeks ago,
Okay.
and I did notify the county, and I did outline, they always want to see the meeting minutes.
Yeah.
So I sent that to Gina, and they're going to be doing that Orient, or the center and south one.
Great.
As far as the Pine Street one, I'm not sure where that one sits.
I think that was done before, the request was put in before then. I can check to see, because it was before I was dealing with it, but I'll look. I think it was put in before, but we wanted to wait until the summer months because they wanted
Okay.
a busier time of year.
That's why I wasn't sure if the actual request had officially gone in.
I
But
will
okay,
check.
all right, thank you.
And just so everybody else that's here, that wasn't here is clear, a resident had sent a letter requesting that the center and south intersection be looked at for a three-way stop. Right now, it's not. There's one at Linden, and that resident felt that that was a dangerous intersection. So the board voted, and then I reached out to Gina Wilkowski at the county, and since that's a county road, and they will conduct that study.
I mean, one of the things we should probably do is consider public comment on both of those issues, because I know that for Gina, it helps too to understand how really robust or not robust this issue is. So I think with both Pine Street and Center, we should reach out to the residents there and on social media and try to code red as well to target those neighborhoods to see if there really is a public need, public desire to have those changes, because then she can take that and use that for proposing changes if that's what they decide. So let's do that.
Would we just limit it to those two streets?
Like, those are the ones on the table. If we, if there are other streets that we want to identify, that's something we can look at in the future. Do you have anything else in mind, or?
Well, is it Gerard that has the crosswalk with the bikeability? Is it Gerard? North?
On Pine, you mean, or?
No. What's the one that has the crosswalk that goes past Fisher Price? Gerard.
Yeah.
Gerard has a
Yeah.
crosswalk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gotten already 2 emails from residences there about just public safety and that crosswalk.
Yeah, we can add that to the list.
Is Gerard a county road, though?
No.
Oh,
No.
that's us.
Yeah.
No.
It's a-
Yeah. So just
I
in terms
figured
of,
more
in
people are
terms
gonna
of this
tell it
request to
for
the
hearing
county,
that you're-
for sure. But just in terms of this request to the county, I think we want to say, of the county roads that we want to address, though, we want those two traffic studies. There are state and town and village roads that we want to look at too.
That's a good idea. Let's think about what we want to, because if we're going to be requesting the community to come forward, we could open it up to other.
Other streets?
Other
Sure. Concerns?
That's all I've got.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Root?
No, I was on vacation for a little bit, but we went to the tree board meeting and it was fantastic. They seemed to be a bit more hopeful after meeting with NICEAG of what they were going to do. So that was nice to hear that they were positive about the changes that were going to be made, implemented.
Great. Okay. Trustee Raby?
I'm good, thank you.
Trustee Camp?
Also, nothing to add.
Trustee Bojanowski?
So after the week of our first, my first village meeting, I was at HPC and ZBA. The clock sign for the bank shot, that was going to come to us soon once HPC looks at some missing information. Was also at the Hammond Park committee meeting. I'm excited to be on that one. I'm excited to be on all of them, in all honesty. And then I was at Great Wolf Lodge, and it was the 20th birthday, just happened to be, and the mayor of Niagara Falls was speaking there, so I introduced myself to him. I have his card, so if there's anything we like that in Niagara Falls, Canada, we have a way to reach out to him.
Little Clifton Hill here.
I also reached out to the mayor of Niagara on the Lake to talk about their beautification, see if we can learn anything. So maybe General Crew Chief Stoll and I will have a date where we go to the romantic village of Niagara on the Lake to meet with their team. Yep. Okay, try to be quick here. A couple of things. Administrator, we continue to receive resumes. Thanks for posting and reposting that. We are starting interviews this week. Trustees Raby and Kemp have volunteered to conduct those interviews with me, and we will be reporting on the results of those very soon. Thank you very much, Trustee Raby, for the ranking and all of the approach that you took. That's really, it was really great. NICEAG, we did have a meeting with representatives. There was a government relations, James Cerrone and Ashley Wayne, yeah, and Nancy Smith, of course, and Jesse was there as well, and as was Jeff. We are waiting to receive a binding agreement from them, is what was decided. But all of the terms that we had put forward seem to be agreed upon, so we hope that when we get that, that's going to be the case, and then we can have the established rules for not only finishing the trees that have not been touched, but also for many years in the future. So when we get that, that'll be coming your way to the trustees. But it looks positive. It does look positive that we've come up with an agreement, and that will save a lot of issues. Bike bus we spoke about. I spoke at the American Legion for a Vietnam Veterans Dinner. It was great to be there and thank them for the invitation. That was 2 days ago. I think we're very thankful for their service, and I'm glad we have that facility out there. It was great to be there together with the supervisor. Arbor Day festivities on Thursday. We are planting a tree up at the high school together with the high school students, and then on Friday at Parkdale, similar. So if anyone is interested in joining me, you're more than welcome to. I have the time, so ask me separately because I did not put them in my notes, but that would be Thursday during the day.
11:15 Thursday.
11:15, yeah. Yep. Okay. And then on Friday, I don't remember what time it is at Parkdale. Yeah.
I didn't have that one on my radar.
Yeah. Association of Erie County Governments meeting is on Thursday evening for mayors and supervisors. I'll be attending that. Tomorrow we have a meeting with our engineers, and looking forward to that. One of the issues that we had spoken about was converting our contract for the windows in the police station to be a more thorough look at the facility, so that we can understand the end road and then try to identify grant opportunities for things like windows and where we can use. So we have that final plan. As you know, the town is remodeling the courts on the second floor, so it would be good if we could all do this together and see where we can save costs. So we'll have that meeting tomorrow. Chief, you'll be at that, right, I think, or?
I ended up having a conflict.
Okay. Yeah.
I talked to Jeff about what my questions would be.
Okay. So that's something we'll be bringing to you. The July 4th committee is meeting tomorrow morning. Climate Smart Community, we are still looking for anyone interested in being on the Village Climate Smart Community that we need to reintroduce. It is a mandatory part of the program that we have a task force coordinator and community members that are taking minutes at meetings. So if you know anyone, let us know. That's been a pretty successful program for the town. Yep, we have had a couple. Let's see. I also met with the county executive and a number of different departments at Erie County today. We discussed some of the projects we discussed here today, but also how we can improve our communication on projects that the county's doing in the village, which was great. Hamlin Park trees we spoke about. The bike committee is meeting tomorrow at 6 o'clock here in the next room over, one of these rooms. That is their first reconstituted meeting, and the agenda is to understand what their goals are for moving forward. And then on April 27th, the governor's office, they are sending a few representatives out to discuss with us some of the things that we look forward to, including the grants that we want to be identifying. So pretty busy times. Pretty busy, but getting a lot done, I think. All right, we had another issue, sorry.
Just a quick question. You were talking about the demolition of the law. And I'm used to that being, minor tweaks, which means you don't go through a whole process again. Are you considering a major overhaul of the local law?
I don't think so. I think it is minor tweaks, but, this is,
The more you do and the bigger the change, that's what will prompt a public hearing. But not knowing what the proposals are yet.
My comments were in reference to the proposed language.
No, and I
So
understand that.
yeah, so I don't know, you tell me the process. I don't know what the implications of that would be, but the proposed language as it stands, I think, is overly broad. So if it might just be trimming that down, it might be tightening it up. I mean, I would imagine it just redlining what is currently there, but I don't know what constitutes a substantial change.
Okay, changing the name, for example, is, not a big deal. Removing just a reference to alterations or, additions, minor. But if you start talking in terms of sizes and things like that, that could be considered a major modification. That would prompt a public hearing, so it kind of depends on what you're gonna do.
So if we change the percentage, so like currently it's written.
You're going from 40 to 41, I'm gonna tell you, that's an insignificant. If you change it from 40 to 80,
But like 40 to
that's
50?
that's major.
What
That's
about,
like-
is 50 major?
You're getting
Yeah, so
bumped.
that was the crux of my comment. So
Yeah,
if we need
I
to,
just want to clarify, make sure, because I don't want to put you in this tough spot where it's not, you get in trouble for not having a public hearing, so it really,
so yes, I mean, then, based on what you're saying, it sounds like what I am proposing would require a public hearing.
okay.
Said it, we could always cancel.
Then,
Yeah.
fortunately, you're still in the same meeting now, so you can schedule it.
It's better
Which
to
is why
set
I asked the question now, rather than you hit May 4th, and the sun's like, oh. That way you won't delay.
So we can set that now for the next
You
meeting?
can. Or whatever you notice, I don't know,
Well,
what
yeah,
you
that's-
paper nowadays, because I know it changed.
Yeah.
To the South Towns B.
Yeah.
Nope, we use the agonizer. I would like to do that, I think that's.
Sure.
I think so, because
Yes.
you always.
Yeah.
Would be
split,
prudent,
right?
So,
regardless of how we change it.
Yep.
We cover ourselves.
Yep.
Motion to set a public hearing to, on the approval of a local law amending Village Code Chapter 112 demolitions.
So moved.
There's a
Second.
Second, trustee Camp, second by trustee Lazikas. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you there for interjecting.
Yeah.
And with that, without anything else, a motion to adjourn.
So move. Or,
Move.
Trustee Bojanowski, a second.
I'll second that. Oh, before we adjourn, I know, we don't need to vote on like changing those signs or updating those signs on the pickleball, right?
As long as we're within the budget. Another thing we want to talk about are the dog signs, because there's a lot of dogs going in there, and I think there's some ways you come in when they're not clear. So I think it's just, because the
Sure.
expenses are within the budget, as long as we don't go over the budget line.
Fair enough.
I think that would be the,
I'll come up with language and whoever orders it, is that Jeff or Maureen or Christina?
Jeff and Christine.
Jeff and
Okay.
Christine.
We'll talk tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, motion on the table to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.